Alright, let's check out at least some of this law enforcement guide to satanic cults. I've watched most of it, not the whole thing. You can tell by the thumbnail you're in for a good time. Gun video catalog. Great.
Due to the graphic nature of this program,
It is pretty graphic.
viewer discretion is
Viewer
advised.
discretion is advised. And this is
I'm Gordon Coulter. For many years I served as a law enforcement officer. Today it's my privilege to host this program on a little-known area in law enforcement, but important to every small community and every large city across our vast country. It's the area of satanic cults and how they impact our families, our children, and our communities. In satanic occultism, that which is good is bad, and that which is bad is good. And as you view this learning and educational tape, pay attention to notice the reverse of everything that is normal becoming abnormal. There are many crimes that are unsolved in our cities, and many of those crimes have ritualistic overtones, but they're hard to find, and it's difficult to find the depth of where these things go and who may have done them. And so today we hope to be able to shed some light on a dark, dark area, an area that has been taboo for so many years, that is also protected by the United States Constitution and the freedom of religion. That's why it's very difficult for us as law enforcement officers to really investigate. But the question really is, where do the freedoms end and our responsibilities begin for our communities?
I remember the first time I saw this, when that bird flies in, I thought it was like a
Satanic cults and their various offshoots exist. We even have evidence, here and there, that leads us to believe that some sort of rituals are taking place. However, unless we catch them actually breaking the law, or find evidence that leads directly to participants in some illegal activity, we have no case.
So what's the point of this shit? Because we're gonna, just to give you some spoilers, we're gonna spend a pretty huge chunk of this video talking about, like, the various telltale signs that there has been, like, ritual sacrifice activity. But then at the end it's like, but usually, like, just finding this stuff isn't really enough to, like, get any specific person convicted of any crime. And it's like, so are we just having fun here for 73 minutes? Why fucking make this video? I thought this was for,
the problem involved with the cult explosion is becoming a many-faceted puzzle confronting law enforcement today.
Don't look at the boobs. I'll cover the
boobs. It is imperative
that
these cases be solved. They are vicious, revolting, and create fear in any community. It is only through proper training that the police officer can hope to gain the ability to understand and recognize which are regular offenses and those that belong to cult behaviors.
Am I supposed to be scared of this?
This is a law enforcement problem.
Sick drawings. You gonna show me a sacrifice here? Okay. What we got?
There are three general areas and levels of involvement in satanic occult worship. The first would be dabblers. They're people who just use it for fun and games, may be involved in some video games and that kind of level, possibly a little graffiti, but reasonably innocent.
They might be involved with video games. I like the idea that video games and graffiti are on the same level of antisocial behavior.
The second level would be those that are involved for spiritual reasons, and they recognize that there's power in the worship of Satan. These people generally worship together and try to find the mystery
so this is like
of
right
it all.
In the middle of
and then the third level would be criminal involvement, and that's the area that interests us.
We're in a new resurgence now.
These people actually believe that they gain power through criminal activity, through killing people through various rituals that are against the law in our states and in our country.
Is he making this up as he goes along? This background
Eric
looks
Pryor
like it's
is a former satanic high priest turned Christian who now spends his time educating people about the dark side.
Yes, he said participation in video games and things of that nature. And that's a low-level Satanist, is a person who participates in video games.
Side of satanic cults.
That's what I'm saying, is that back at this point, like, if you were accused of being a Satanist, it literally just meant you, like, played Pokemon.
When I was practicing occultist, oftentimes I would come into this park. Oh yeah,
this guy. So this guy is going to be our guide through the majority of this video. I don't think I watched this whole thing because it's over an hour long, but yeah, this guy with this just terrible fucking mullet he's a, you know, a former satanic high priest, so he claims, and he's going to take us around this park.
Practice on various different holidays, lunar holidays and occultic holidays, and we'd actually have rituals in the park when we didn't have a space to do rituals indoor. So what I'd like to do is take you into the park and just kind of show you one of the places that you would start asking your questions and start looking to see what the occultists are up to. There's two different communities that use this park. One is the pagan or occultic community, and the other community is...
If it makes you feel any better, I don't actually think this guy was ever involved in Satanism, and I think he's pulling basically all of this out of his ass.
Of course, the homosexual community. Interestingly enough,
the homosexual community,
they go hand in hand.
They do.
So, well, see, here you go. Upon entering the park, I mean, you can see they've already got started. Okay. This is a pentacle. Scared. The interesting thing about this pentacle is it's an upright pentacle. This is not a satanic pentacle. Now,
pentacle? I thought it was a pentagram.
The reason why this pentacle would not be considered satanic is because it has one point up. Now, Satanists would reverse this star, or pentacle as it's called, and have 2 points up.
Like
those represent the horns of Baphomet and or the horns of Satan. But now, right over here, I can see on a tree here,
there's a
inverted cross. Now, this is satanic. This is a very generic symbol. Let me see. It's actually fairly fresh, too. This here, of course, is a bastardization of Christianity, and it's a very common symbol. Obviously, they probably had a party or a ritual here within the past.
This is the Black's Rule picture. If I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that's what this reminds me of.
Usually, what they'll do is they'll mark. It's almost like a path. They'll mark a path to kind of show you where the action's at. The colors they'll use will be white, red, and black. Those are the dominant colors of the satanic movement. And basically, well, okay, over here, see? Here you go. This, well, see, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, what you're looking at here is called Voodoo Vivi.
This is hopscotch.
This is kind of like a coat of arms, if you will, for the demonic. And the implications of this is definitely satanic. When I showed you earlier the one pointed up star as we first came in, and I told you that, you know, the implications of Satanism are 2 points up. As you can see, there are 2 points up here, and someone has made it very clear they were probably worshiping Set, because it says Set here, so it's pretty obvious. On the rise there up here is a very flat area. Concrete area.
If you think it's stupid now,
that is used often. I even frequented it for ritual practice. Well, there you go. You can see from here 666 and an eye. Now that eye above 666 is an Egyptian eye, the eye of Anubis. So I can tell by looking at this eye that these people that were up here were into ceremonial magic. These aren't witches.
Fun.
These are definitely Satanists.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I think it's supposed to be like a map of this park they're in, but
now,
it looks really weird.
What you see here, this is gang graffiti, okay? And this is how gangs talk to each other, okay? But now this is how occultists talk to each other.
How are you?
This here is a psilocybin mushroom.
Squidward smells.
So probably they had a psilocybin ritual, which is not uncommon.
So they drew a mushroom?
Using peyote and psilocybin. And so this was probably a psilocybin ritual.
What is this?
Okay, here you go.
I don't...
Shem Hemfarash is a satanic invocation, and Halley is also part of a satanic invocation.
That's probably
there
the
is a
Satanist
book out
girlfriend.
Called The Greater Key of Solomon. And in The Greater Key of Solomon, you will see on the seal of Solomon this word. All right, from what I can tell, from the graffiti
that's supposed to be there,
and everything that I've seen, and what I see here on the concrete, it looks like they actually have the ritual here. Now, there's an N here for north, and there's an S over here for south. Now, while these are not the true directions, obviously someone had a bad sense of direction, I'm assuming that this is where they actually had their ritual. One of the reasons why they would use this particular area to have a ritual is it is on concrete, and it's a nice open area. When we used to come up and
it does look like a pretty
rituals,
sick spot for a ritual, I gotta say.
And we had a group.
If I was gonna have a
look for an
satanic
open,
ritual,
flat space.
I feel like I would do it in like the woods.
This is an open, flat
I
space. This would be an ideal place for them to have a ritual. Now, if I was a solo occult practitioner, I might do it in the bushes somewhere and have a little altar set up. So what you're doing is when you come onto a scene and you're investigating a scene, you look on the ground and you'll find clues as to what happened.
I forgot this is for cops.
Right here,
okay,
we have a rope here.
Satanist. That's what they would make now. They would make a video for vigilante.
And actually, if you look at it closely, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but there's blood on this noose. Now, this could have been used, either to bind someone up in some type of a ritual scourging, or it could have actually been used on an animal that was sacrificed. When sacrificing a cat or a dog, of course animals move around a lot and they get unruly, so they would tie it up. But there is blood all over this particular noose. Now these are the kind of things that you'd be looking for. What we have here is a medicine bottle of 2% xylocaine.
You're just picking up trash.
For those of you with medical knowledge, you would know xylocaine, known as lidocaine, is a numbant. It's used to numb people, and for that matter, animals. And of course, if you're going to ritually sacrifice an animal or a human, for that matter, in a public place, you don't want them to be screaming in pain. So it's not uncommon for occultists to use something like this, and of course, here we have it. On this tree here, we have some more graffiti. It's in red, which is a classical satanic color.
It's like,
now what's interesting here is the number 9. 9 represents the 9 satanic statements. You can find this in a book by Anton Sanzer LaVey, which is called the Satanic Bible, and you will see that there are 9 satanic
a lot of good
statements. This is the way occultists tell each other, hey, we're Satanists.
If you want to know the lore.
And we're partying.
The 9 Satanic Statements from the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Number 1, Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Number 2, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Number 3, Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit.
I'm gonna go get my food.
Arson, murder, which might include human sacrifice, or mass murders, or cannibalism, drug trafficking,
I'm back.
sexual trafficking of children,
had to divvy up the food,
corpse theft, cemetery vandalism.
Oh, I love this. The list
market
of crimes.
sales of bones and skulls, black market baby selling, pedophilia, pornography,
hi Walter. Hello
torture,
and
desecrating churches or other religious buildings, human slavery, weapons violations, suicides, disposing of animal parts.
Yeah, I love the wide
illegal
range
entry into mortuaries
of crimes
and
here. You
cemeteries.
get like, you know,
necrophilia, or having sex with dead people.
Necrophilia.
These things may or may not be satanic
I guess I already
kinds
missed it,
of
but
rituals,
the way he says pedophilia
but they're important
is
to note in
crazy.
your reporting because
says,
they
like,
would fit together in a
pedophilia.
fabric as
Like it's a
follow-up
fucking,
investigations might indicate a deeper
know,
need
a foreign
to look
word or
into
something.
the dark side of your
Very
community.
funny.
So note them well and ask the investigators
Take
to do a little
heed.
further follow-up if you find any of these indicated in a crime or in a police report.
Walter, this is a VHS tape from 1994 that they gave to police departments to teach them about satanic cults.
There is a
That's been the
difference
theme of
between
what I've
Satanism,
been watching today
voodoo,
on
and
stream
witchcraft.
is,
And what I'd like to
weird
do
VHS
is show
ephemera.
you different altar setups so you can familiarize yourself
Mostly Christian ones, which I
how
guess
these
this one
people
isn't
operate
Christian
and
per se.
their
but,
various different paraphernalia.
you know, same deal.
These particular groups
Basically, I mean, I
that
can't imagine.
I'm going to show you the different
I guess
altar
Jews
setups
could
of
be worried about
are the type of
Satanists,
groups
but
that
it seems
would
like Christians
most
are the only ones who really
probably
make a big
be
stink about it.
involved in criminal activity. While you wouldn't find all this stuff at a crime scene,
I am
you
having
will find evidence that they have been at a
and
crime
some
scene.
chips and queso from
For
a
instance, you
Mexican
might find
place
something like this pin here,
that
which
we
is
like.
used to penetrate a pulpit like we have sitting here.
Oh, we're going to demonstrate some props.
But then again, there are other things that might be left behind that would indicate voodoo. Now, voodoo
Yeah, this is good.
colorful,
We watched a bunch of Christian shit for Good Friday, and now we're learning
and
about
usually
Satan. We got to learn both
beads
sides.
and shells are
That's what my
associated
channel's
with
about.
it.
It's about hearing both
What
sides.
you're looking at here is two
Just being
small
in the middle
conch
and come
shells
together.
and some beads. You're
Yeah,
not
Happy Good
going
Friday.
to find
Jesus is officially dead.
candles
I meant
intact.
to mark it at
and
3 p.m.
if
when I was
you
playing
do,
Red Dead 2. But
you might find a
3
candle
p.m.
very
today
similar to the
is
one
when
I'm
you're
holding
supposed to
here. Now you
bow
might
your
look
head
at
in
this candle and
silence
say,
be
well,
like, damn,
what
they
makes this
crucified
candle
Jesus.
different?
That's fucked up.
Well, first of all, any candle that's used in
But he'll be back.
Santeria,
It's cool.
Macumba, or Voodoo generally will have a patron saint on the front. Now, this is the saint that they
What's
would
with the
be
cigarette
paying
butts?
obeisances to, you know,
Did he mention those?
lighting the nicotine up to, drinking the rum
nicotine.
to, and smoking
Okay.
the cigar smoke to. But on the back, it'll have a prayer to that
So
patron
if I
saint
find a cigarette butt,
that is only
that means there's probably a
indicative
Satanist there doing a ritual.
to candles used in Santeria, Macumba, and Voodoo. Another thing that you might find would be small vials like this.
Honestly, I think they should arrest
These
whoever is
vials
doing this
will
because they're just
contain
losers
some type of a ritual oil.
who are
Usually
LARPing.
these
They're
oils are
like I
poured
said
over a
earlier, they're
coal
fucking
in
the
the
people
ritual
who are
practice.
actually like self-avowed
You might
Satanists
find
and
a
try to
lot
do
of
magic and
empty,
shit are
oil
like actually no,
vials at a
because
ritual
the
site.
epic atheists don't believe in magic, of course, because they're
What you're looking at
rational
here
beings, but
is a classical satanic
the guys who
altar
are in
setup.
the Church of Satan and take it literally,
Now,
they are
there
just kind
are
of like
more than one
epic
type of
libertarian
satanic group. There are
fedora
rogue
tipping
satanic
guys.
groups where you have a bunch of young people that get together and
And,
they
you know,
read books
every
such
guy
as
has
the
their thing that
Satanic
they-
Bible by Anton Sanzer LaVey,
you know,
or some of
person
the
from the
stuff that was
past that they
published by
imagine
the
themselves
Temple of
to be,
Set, which is also
that they make their
another
personality.
large
And
church
for
of
those
Satan.
guys, it's this.
But now an organized satanic group has an organized way of setting up its altar. What
like,
you're
you're not an
looking
adult
at here
man
is a
thinking you're really
classical
doing
satanic
magic.
altar setup. You would
See, this is
have
the instructional
a
video
male
part for me.
candle
This is the stuff that I'm
on the
gonna
left-hand side
do.
and a female
remember.
candle on the right-hand side. You would have a skull, which is considered the barrier of death, and a bell to ring for each one of
Honestly,
the
if
9
the Church of
satanic
Satanism
statements.
were serious,
And
they would have put a hit out on this guy.
they would ring it.
Because he's fucking snitching. He's
You would
telling
also
them
have
everything.
2 ceremonial daggers. The other thing is, instead of having a ceremonial
Imagine a bunch
dagger
of cops
like
sitting in
we
a
have
conference room
here
watching this
that
on
would be used in
27
Satanism,
CRT TV and barely being
they
able to hear the
would
guy saying,
just use a
I
very
did that too. I was
simple
like,
one
and the
dagger.
fact that at least a few of them are probably
called
taking
an
it very
athame.
seriously.
Now, the athame is used
Yeah, just
when
a bunch
they
of guys
charge
who look like thumbs.
the wine, which would be in the chalice.
Sitting
The athame would be
in
used
metal
when they
chairs.
charge the wine, which would be in the chalice. The salt, which would be in the
I'm
salt
watching this
bowl,
on a
and the water, which would be in the water bowl,
TV that they wheeled in.
as well as the incense. Another interesting addition we have here is Kyrnos. This is one of the gods of the witches. And the center for any witchcraft altarpiece will have either Kyrinus, which is the god of the witches, or Diana. You'll also learn to understand how they think.
I mean, they have a pretty nice. If I saw all this shit in a person's house, I'd be like, that's interesting.
This is used to defame the Christian religions. In a righted position, Christ's head would be looking up towards heaven.
Been the most epic, edgy
it would point downward towards Satan and hell.
He was like,
by defaming a Christian symbol, the thought is that power is taken away.
How do we show that
the numbers
we're anti-Christian?
666. According to the Bible, these numbers 666.
It's like when when people do the American flag upside down. It's like
this inverted star points downward towards hell and Satan.
Nailed him.
It is a popular symbol that has no meaning other
than
a satanic one.
Really
there may be many different versions. The voodoo vivi, as we saw in the park, it represents the type of ritual that occurs.
Doodles. I imagine they got the cops have workbooks,
which is the symbol
and they're
of
drawing
rebellion.
all these.
The ceremonies involve rape and sexual assault, sodomy, animal and human sacrifices, and often the slaughter of unbaptized infants.
Well, I don't like any of that. I do not support
blood,
any of
the
those.
life force, Lucifer,
I do know
Leviathan,
that, at least,
Prince
I don't know
of
Hitler
Darkness,
personally, but I know Nazis were
Goat's
interested in,
the symbolic
stuff,
identification of Satan.
I think that
in
more
the
just
world.
came out of the whole, Aryan
Grottos,
race myth.
Countless
oh, this is the history of
one
the German
or
people.
Organization. Hand of glory.
I'm gonna
the
learn
left hand
alchemy.
of a person who has died.
The
hand is removed
idiots.
from the body, pickled, embalmed, and mummified. It is then used to ward off evil spirits. The head. Satanists believe that the head is the most important part of the body. They often eat the brain to receive powers of the deceased person.
It's pretty crucial.
The heart. Satanists believe it to be the center of life. By eating the heart, they believe that assumption of the deceased's characteristics and powers will be thus transferred.
Well, that's just silly.
Host. Normally using blessed communion wafers, symbolic of the body of Christ, Satanists insert them into the vagina of the altar, or physically stomp, thus desecrating Christian
the child
beliefs.
cop's ears at this part. This is NSFW.
A female demonic force that copulates with human males.
That sounds tight.
Incubus. A male demonic force that copulates with human females. And witchcraft. The practice of the old religion which focuses on the goddess in her many forms.
That's no good.
Perhaps one of the most despicable crimes in general, and in particular among Satanists,
don't put children in this
is that
video,
involving
please.
a child.
That's so weird.
In every state in the nation, there are reports and investigations of satanic crime.
You don't need B-roll for this part. Bring out the guy with the sweater to just talk to me about this.
I was
Taylor Swift?
Forced to watch pets killed and put in an oven, and I was told that if I talked, the same thing would happen to me. They would dismember bodies and then
I like the
hang me
witch
upside down
drawing.
over
I'm covering
that.
it up. I don't know if I'm doing it dry. Fucking missed it.
I think it was
that witch
acid,
was
I'm not
pretty
sure,
funny.
but there were body parts.
Like a literal
and they
cartoon
told me they
witch.
would lower me
The Wicked Witch of the
into
West
the
cut my hands off and raped me.
acid if I ever talked about this. In one memory I had, in order to get the blood, they used me as the person to get the blood from. It was basically the lamb, the child of God.
The thing that they don't tell you
And
in
they
this
would put
tape
pins
is
and
that all
needles
of this
in
shit
between my
is real,
fingers,
but all the people doing
and I
this
would be
are
bled
like
so that they could have
Bill
pain.
Clinton. And,
Another way to keep me silent was to use a gun.
And who's that guy who like
pornography, child prostitution,
pays for Clarence Thomas's mom's
brings in
house
big
or whatever,
money.
and went on a bunch of vacations
I was
with
not
Harlan
to talk
Crow?
about that either, and I was threatened to be killed
That guy.
if I talked.
Yeah, I love these horrible
As well
sketches.
as burned.
They must have been done by a policeman.
They use cigarettes and other forms of
Like, what the fucking
burning.
hell is this?
And so I wrote a poem about not being able to talk about that. Birds and babies go away, mustn't tell.
Oh, we're gonna hear the poem. We're gonna see the poem on the screen too. Holy shit.
Must pretend
I don't think I
do
watched
not
this
see.
far, because this is not
Nothing
familiar
happened.
to me.
Don't remember. Helter skelter. Now dismember.
So what you're telling me is you murdered a
babies
baby.
burn. Mustn't talk.
If I'm to believe
it
you,
will be my turn.
Symptoms characterizing satanic ritual abuse and sexual abuse in preschool-aged children.
becoming entirely silhouette.
Low self-esteem, feeling of being bad. Child feels
Feeling
deserving
of being
punishment. Child is fearful, clingy, regresses to baby behavior.
Goo goo gaga.
Separation anxiety. The child is angry and aggressive. The child acts wild, uncontrolled, hyperactive. The child is accident-prone or deliberately hurts himself. The child is negativistic, resistant to authority.
Do they have to have all of these symptoms, or just any of them?
The child mistrusts adults. The child
Is
is
your kid angry?
over-compliant
Well,
with authority,
I'm sorry to tell you.
over-pleasing with adults. The child has rapid mood changes. The child is withdrawn, does not play.
Because, I mean, I agree. If I met a
lethargic
kid who had
or
all of these
unfocused way.
traits, I'd be like, holy shit, dude. There's something wrong with this kid. He's way too annoying.
The child exhibits a short attention span. The child does not learn.
He's stupid.
There are somatic complaints, stomach aches, nausea,
If your
and
kid is
vomiting,
sick,
nightmares, and sleep disorders. The child is fearful of being touched, fears having genital area washed.
yeah, that is one
The
of
child
them.
touches his genitals or masturbates excessively. The child touches or tries to insert fingers into his rectum.
This is just a list of every issue a child could ever have.
Semen or bloodstains are found on the child's underwear.
That's why
Detailed and
that's the
age-inappropriate
police
understanding
doctrine.
of
If
sexual
you see
behavior.
If you see a child, it's on site.
Hints about sexual activity. The child complains that an adult or older child is bothering them. A reference to blood or white stuff in genital area. A statement that someone had removed the child's clothing. A statement that an older child or adult exposed themselves to the child. A child's
These are just
statement that he or
signs
she
that they've been
touched an older
abused,
child's or
period.
adult's bottom, vagina, rectum, mouth, etc.
But, like, a kid could say, like, 7 of those last
A statement that
ones,
an
and it
older
would just mean
child
that
or
they got
adult
abused, like, by a
touched or
family
penetrated
member.
the child's bottom,
But this is
vagina,
supposedly all a
rectum,
sign that
mouth,
they got abused by
etc.
a Satanist in a ritual.
A statement that the
specifically.
child witnessed sex acts. On medical examination, relaxed sphincter control, anal or rectal lacerations or scarring.
We're
The
really
child
getting into the weeds
relaxes
here
rather
now.
than tenses rectum when touched. On medical exam, venereal disease.
Yeah.
Self-righteousness, disrespect towards parents,
He
they're
changed
common in the
sweaters.
growing up years. They're also
He changed
signs
into
of
a Seinfeld
involvement in
sweater.
satanic cults.
This
and
sweater looks
attitude
like the
towards
carpet at a
family
bowling alley.
and
This is very good.
friends.
Most of the people we deal with, the young adults that we deal with,
Now this
have other
guy's
problems that
this guy fucks.
are
That's a good ass
synonymous
collar right
with
there.
even sometimes gang activity. They're looking for
And that teal, like
things
summer
that
camp
they may
t-shirt
not
he's
have at
got
home.
under it. You know, this
A lot
probably
of times
was fucked up is that
parents
this like video
and
probably
people in
caused there to
general
be at least
will
one
close their eyes to things
like
that
city
they don't want to
police
hear.
department where there were a
If
lot
you-
more
If you keep an open mind
arbitrary,
and,
like,
and try to know your kids and
arrests of fucking
learn what your kids are all about, I think that'll
where
be
like
a big step
they just
into
arrest people
understanding
for a normal
what's
thing,
going
but
on
they're
and then
like,
being able to
boss,
identify any
I
problems
think we
that
might
may
wanna look
arise
into whether or
or
not this was a
situations that you
satanic
might see
ritual
that,
type
that
situation.
you might need to look for help
You know,
and not keep a closed mind.
they have not
Teach the
mentioned D&D
parents
or
and the
Pokemon
school officials
or,
and the youth workers
I guess it's
to
predates
note these
Harry Potter.
behavior changes and to take time to find out what's going on in their lives. Never stop this important investigation into lives for the value of our kids in America.
Still 25 minutes left in this shit.
Satanists celebrate a host of rituals and ceremonies during the course of each year. As some are held more important than others, a host of crimes are committed before, during, and after the ceremonies. A high religious holiday is held on February 2nd.
It's actually how
At these sexual ceremonies, animal, oral, and vaginal rituals are completed with females from age 1 to 17.
Here's how you would do it.
June 21st and 22nd signal the summer solstice, when orgies, anal, oral, and vaginal in nature, take place.
Whoa.
Any age, any sex.
There's cops in the back of the room giggling.
Demon revels are held on July 1st. Anal, oral, and vaginal sexual activities take place with females from 7 to 17 years of age.
Oh, man. It's just really fucked up out there right now, man. I just get scared sometimes, man.
And December 22nd, or the winter solstice, entails orgies with any age and any sex. And on December 24th, demon revels is a demure ceremony and a signaling of the high grand climax. Any age and any sex is included in these ceremonies.
They're all inclusive. What an awesome match with music and words on the screen.
They had him captured for several days and had drugged him, and he had been drugged, and a lot of had been continual sexual activity, male on male sexual activity with him as he was chained.
Excuse me, male on male sexual activity.
That's bedroom, and then sometime he'd be chained to the fireplace in the living room. And every guest would come, he would be offered to
I could deal with the child sacrifice and the decapitation.
And even at some point, they had a German Shepherd have sex with him. And it was beyond what would be seen
fucking
in a normal encounter
having sex with each other?
Of gay male anal sex. So we followed up on that.
Say it ain't so.
We were able to find that young man after we talked to the fellow who was babbling earlier about this sacrifice. So we talked to that young man.
Is this all just about people being gay?
Story. The story was that this man had been captured.
Is this just them
first
people,
victim,
like,
John
the
Doe
cops
60,
find
had been
gay
captured.
people?
He had been drugged.
Like they're doing a ritual.
And
it's like, well, no, they're
sacrificed to Satan. The things started to fall into place. Everything started to make sense. And
it's all coming together.
I can tell you
all the
that our investigation of that case led us into the very highest echelons of our society, professional people, successful business people who were associates.
All right, now we're talking.
And one of whom we know is a unindicted co-conspirator to this day.
He's probably, when he's talking about successful businessmen, he's probably talking about like a Home Depot franchisee.
He's kept in a sedated condition for several days prior to the ritual. We were able to prosecute St. Joseph by using, because as I told you, the body was almost devoid of blood.
Was going to be here. Hey, viewer discretion, it was
wherever this had taken place, there had to be a lot of blood. So in the cracks and crevices of the hardwood floor beneath the carpeting, even there were small blood spatterings on the walls, the lower part of the French door.
All right, I don't want to watch 13 more minutes of this. 12. I'm gonna throw this trash away, and then I'll cue something else up. Okay, before I get up to pee and we pick the next video to watch, just because I mentioned it earlier, I'm going to show the first minute of this tape from 1996 by a guy named Joseph Kramer that is an instructional tape for men of how to massage your own asshole. I cannot show the vast majority of this tape for reasons that should be self-explanatory.
My name is Joe Kramer, and I'm a massage instructor. With this self-anal massage, you can reclaim an important part of yourself. You can relearn feelings you probably lost before you were 5 years old. You know little babies enjoy their assholes. When you were very young, This special part of your body
I know
was
that.
wonderfully connected to all other parts of you. You had no shame. You certainly didn't carry tension in your sphincter muscles.
No,
you
sir.
Just enjoyed being. And you certainly enjoyed your asshole. So what happened?
Of course.
We were taught that there are places on our body that we should avoid. And the asshole is at the top of the list.
The way he says asshole is crazy.
Why are we taught to avoid intimacy with a part of ourselves? What is the purpose of this?
I have to be ready with the pause.
Break the taboo and see what happens. Remember, wherever there are taboos, there is a great learning to be had. If you spend 10 hours in the next month practicing self-anal massage and anal breathing, you will get in touch with astonishing power.
Literally the very next second of this is his dick, so I can't keep going. But that's the mission statement of that video. I really love that last bit of you know, if you start fingering your own asshole, you will be in touch with cosmic powers, basically. Yeah, no, the literal rest of that video, it's just 30 minutes of that dude putting his fingers in his butthole and jacking off. So can't show it on the stream, but it's a hoot. It's a great time. But just look at the guy. I mean, just it was really something. I don't know why I watched the whole thing. I think it's I was like, okay, at some point there has to be something else in this video. He has to do something other than finger his asshole. I feel like that bit from Arrested Development where he sees the bag that says dead pigeon and he looks at it and is like, I don't really know what I expected.
Hail Satan.